Successful cold calling scripts and have some cold calling tips. Cold calling is a smart strategy to reach out to potential customers and convincing them to make a purchase. Reaching out to strangers and convincing them to purchase a product is not as easy as it sounds. It could be a very challenging and frustrating venture because you might experience a lot of rejections. As a new marketer or salesperson, calling a total stranger and talking with him or her on the phone could strike fear and uncertainty into you. We are going to show you how to cold call strangers and what you need to do to achieve good results. Cold calling tips that yields good results. Here are some cold calling tips to connect with prospects and help increase your conversion rates. First, plan all your questions in advance. Before calling a potential prospect, you need to first have all the questions you are going to ask at hand. You need to be prepared to answer any questions which the prospect is going to ask you. Second, focus your questions and attention on your prospect. As a marketer or a salesperson, you are the one reaching out to a potential prospect, hence, all your attention and questions should be focused on the prospect. Third, don't overwhelm your prospect with too many questions in the first call. Remember, you are talking to a stranger for the first time. Though you need to ask the prospect questions so you can qualify the prospect, you also need to be careful as not to ask too many questions. Fourth, keep your prospect relaxed. When cold calling a stranger, you first need to make the stranger relax and feel comfortable to talk to you. Most people don't like to talk to strangers. They will hang up immediately they are not comfortable talking with you. Fifth, find out how your product will benefit your prospect. For a prospect to buy your product, there should be something that he and she will benefit. Sixth, don't attempt to sell on your first cold call. Your first cold call should be all about your prospect and not about yourself or how selling your product. Successful cold calling scripts. We are going to look at some examples of successful cold calling scripts that you can use in your cold calling campaign. First, reference a mutual connection. Referencing a mutual connection in a cold call will make a prospect feel safer and more relaxed to talk with you. Second, provide your prospect with different options. When you provide prospects with the options, you give them room to think more about what you are offering. Third, ask a personal question as an opener. Here, you ask your prospect a personal question to open them up into communicating further with you. Fourth, a cold call after sending an mail. Maybe you have sent a cold email to a prospect, but you have not received any reply after some days or weeks. Calling the prospect will increase your chances of getting a response. Fifth, politely ask for a few minutes. When you politely ask a stranger for a few minutes of their time, he or she will be more willing to give you a listening ear. Sixth, reference a voicemail you left already. This is when you previously left a voicemail for the prospect, but he or she has not responded to it or called you back. Seventh, calling back a prospect that asks you to call back. Maybe you called a prospect before, but he or she was busy when you called and asked you to call back.